Why most older people struggle after 80, and how you can stay strong. Have you ever asked yourself, why do some people stay sharp and full of life well into their 80s and 90 seconds, while others start to fade much earlier? But let me tell you something that might surprise you. Most people don't grow old because of illness. They grow old because they lose slowly, quietly, the little things that once kept them alive. Not their heart medication, not a special supplement, but something far simpler: a morning walk, a warm conversation, a small reason to smile. Today, I want to share with you what I've learned from my patients, the patterns I've seen over and over again that lead to sudden decline after 80. But more importantly, I'll show you how small shifts in daily life can make all the difference. Let's start with one of the most overlooked causes of decline, PAN1. Moving less because of fear. Many of my older patients tell me the same thing. Doc, I stopped walking outside after I tripped that one time. I'm just trying to be safe. And I understand. I really do. Falls are scary. A broken hip can turn a strong senior into someone who depends on a walker or worse, a wheelchair in a matter of days. But here's what no one tells you. Not moving out of fear can be just as dangerous as the fall itself. Let me tell you about Mr. Robert Jenkins, 82, from Kansas. After a minor stumble on his front steps, he became afraid to walk alone. He went from daily morning walks to sitting on the porch all day. In just 6 months, he lost nearly 12 pounds of muscle. By the time he saw me again, he could barely lift himself out of a chair. His fall didn't cause the decline. His fear did. The human body is built to move, especially in our later years. Walking, stretching, bending, lifting, these aren't just activities. They're signals to your brain that say, I'm still capable, I'm still in charge, I still belong in this world. So what should you do? Don't wait for confidence to come back on its own. Rebuild it slowly. Use walking poles. Walk with a friend. Take shorter, more frequent strolls. Ask your doctor about a fall prevention program or physical therapy. Because here's the truth. Motion is life. And the moment you stop moving out of fear, you start giving up your independence. So today, ask yourself, what's one gentle way you can get moving again? Your body will thank you tomorrow, and so will your future self. PAN2. Disrupted sleep cycles from poor light exposure. Let me ask you this. Do you ever feel wide awake at night, but groggy and tired all day? If so, you're not alone. And it may have nothing to do with age, and everything to do with light. You see, one of the most common and most misunderstood reasons seniors start losing their energy, memory, and sleep quality after 80 is that their circadian rhythm, their internal clock, is completely out of sync. Here's what happens. As we get older, we naturally produce less melatonin, the hormone that helps us fall asleep and stay asleep. That's normal. But when we stay indoors all day, avoid natural sunlight, and use bright screens at night like phones or TV, our body gets confused. It doesn't know when to wake up, and it definitely doesn't know when to rest. That confusion builds up until one day, you're up at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering why your body forgot how to sleep. Let me tell you about Mrs. Carolyn Blake, 84, from Oregon. She used to complain of waking up exhausted every morning after 8 hours in bed. But once we started working together, I asked her, Carolyn, how much sunlight do you get before noon? She laughed and said, Doc, I haven't opened my blinds before 10 a.m. in years. So we made 2 small changes. She started opening her curtains by 7:30 a.m. and sitting by the window with her tea. She turned off her tablet and TV an hour before bed, and within just 10 days, her sleep improved, and so did her energy and clarity during the day. No pills, no special equipment, just light. Here's what I recommend if you're over 70. Get at least 15-30 minutes of sunlight within an hour of waking. Even sitting near a sunny window helps. Avoid bright screens or overhead lights 90 minutes before bedtime. Use warm lighting at night lamps, not overheads. Keep your sleep and wake times consistent, even on weekends. Remember, your body wants to sleep, it just needs the right cues. And light, both natural and artificial, is the loudest cue of them all. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, Instead of reaching for your phone, reach for the sunlight. It might just be the best medicine your body's been missing. PAN 3. Bottling up emotions after loss. No, let's talk about something we don't always feel comfortable discussing. Grief. If you've lived long enough to be in your 70s, 80 seconds, or beyond, you've likely lost someone, a spouse, a sibling, a best friend, maybe even a child, and you've probably heard the words, "Be strong, don't cry, life goes on." But here's what I've seen over and over again, just as a doctor, but as a human being. Holding it all in doesn't protect you, it weakens you. You see, when we bottle up our sadness, pain, or loneliness, our nervous system stays in survival mode. Stress hormones build up, our immune system gets weaker, our digestion slows, our memory suffers, and over time, our body starts to break down, not from disease, but from unspoken sorrow. Let me tell you about Mr. Thomas Weller, 86, from Indiana. After his wife of 61 years passed away, he told everyone, "I'm fine." He kept mowing his lawn, watching the news, making his coffee, but he never talked about her, never cried, never allowed himself to grieve. 6 months later, he developed chronic fatigue, joint pain, and couldn't sleep more than 2 hours a night. And yet, every test we ran came back normal. I finally sat down with him and said, "Tom, maybe your heart is hurting more than your body is." That opened the floodgates. And you know what? He didn't need medication. He needed permission to feel, to speak, to remember. So if you've been holding something in, I want you to hear this clearly. It's not weakness to grieve. It's strength. It means your love was real, and your story still matters. Here are a few ways you can begin releasing what's been stuck inside. Write a letter to the person you lost. Say what you never got to say. Talk to someone, a friend, a counselor, a group, or even a pet. Cry. In the car, in the garden, in the shower. Tears are the body's natural heal. Remember with love. Look through photos. Light a candle. Share a memory. Because grief is not a wound to hide. It's a doorway you walk through into healing, into peace, into your next chapter. And you, my dear friend, deserve to walk through it with your head held high and your heart wide open. PAN 4. Losing a daily purpose. Let me ask you something simple. What got you out of bed this morning? And I don't mean because the phone rang or because you had to take your pills. I mean, what gave you a reason to sit up, stretch, and say, "All right, today's worth living." As a geriatric doctor, I've come to believe this. Purpose, not blood pressure or cholesterol, is the single greatest indicator of longevity. After 80, many people retire from work, their kids are grown, their routines fade, and life becomes quiet, too quiet. But when there's nothing to look forward to, no task, no project, no small mission, the soul begins to shrink. That's why we see so many older adults physically healthy, but emotionally dim. It's not their body that gave up, it's their reason for being that got blurry. Let me introduce you to Miss Shirley Hansen, 89, from North Carolina. She told me once, "I don't do much these days, but I still make soup every Tuesday." Smiled and asked, "Why Tuesday?" She said, "Because Wednesday my neighbor stops by for lunch. She always looks forward to it. And I do too." That's it. That's purpose. A pot of soup, a knock on the door, two people sitting at a kitchen table sharing more than just a meal, they're sharing life. Purpose doesn't have to be big. You don't need to start a nonprofit or climb a mountain. You just need a small thread that ties you to tomorrow. So what could that be for you? Watering the plants at the same time each day, calling your sister every Sunday, feeding the birds, sending handwritten birthday cards, reading to your grandchild on Zoom. Because when you have something to look forward to, even something tiny, it pulls you forward. It keeps your spark lit. And if no one's assigned you a purpose yet, let me be the first. Live well, not just for yourself, but as an example of what graceful aging looks like. PAN 5. Losing micro-social connections. It's not the big things that fade as we age. It's the tiny ones, the quiet hellos, the shared smiles, the short conversations with people we barely know. And yet, those are the very Threads that hold our days together. As a geriatric physician, I've learned that one of the early warning signs of emotional and cognitive decline in older adults is not loneliness in the big sense, it's the disappearance of microsocial interactions. Think about it. Maybe you used to greet the mailman every morning. Maybe you'd chat with the cashier at the local pharmacy. Maybe the kids in your neighborhood waved when they biked past your house. Now, you don't see them, or you see them, but don't speak. It's not because you don't care, it's just the rhythm changed, and those tiny threads of connection start to unravel quietly. Let me tell you about Mr. Leo Carter, 80, from Pennsylvania. He used to walk to the corner diner every morning. Same booth, same waitress, same bacon and eggs. When COVID hit, the diner closed. And even when it reopened, Leo never went back. He told me, "I didn't realize how much I needed those 2-minute chats until I went 3 weeks without speaking to anyone." His mood dipped. His memory got foggy. His appetite changed. You see, when we interact even briefly with another human being, our brain lights up. Our nervous system calms. Our heart rate stabilizes. It's like a tune-up for the soul. So, what can you do to bring those moments back? Sit on your porch and wave at neighbors. Shop in person instead of online, even if it's just once a week. Say hello to your pharmacist, librarian, or delivery driver. Volunteer at a local center in for 1 hour a week. Greet the kids walking to school like you're the neighborhood grandparent, because those small moments, they add up. They remind you and the world that you are still here, still valuable, still part of something bigger. And trust me, your smile might be the only light someone sees that day. PAN 6. Silent cognitive decline. Sui Jim NANN the them. There's something I've seen happen to many older adults, and it doesn't always show up in blood tests or X-rays. It starts with little things. You forget a name. You misplace your keys. You repeat a story and don't realize it until halfway through. And then you wonder, is this just age? Or is something else going on? As a geriatric doctor, I want to gently share this. There's a difference between normal aging and silent cognitive decline. And the good news? There's a lot you can do to slow it down, even reverse parts of it. Let me tell you about Miss Doris Franklin, a retired librarian from Illinois. She came to see me because she felt foggy, not sick, not confused, just not as sharp. We ran some basic tests, all normal. But when I asked her about her daily habits, I noticed something. She rarely left the house-ish, stopped reading new books, mostly watched television reruns, and she hadn't talked to anyone outside her family in weeks. No wonder her mind felt dull. It wasn't being challenged, nourished, or engaged. You see, the brain is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it gets lazy. If you don't feed it, it slows down. If you don't challenge it, it gets stuck in autopilot. And after age 80, brain shrinkage, especially in memory centers like the hippocampus, speeds up if we don't actively stimulate it. So, what helped Doris? She started doing 15 minutes of word puzzles. After breakfast, she joined a weekly brain fitness Zoom group at her local senior center, and she began reading new books out loud to her granddaughter. Over within 1 month, she felt more awake. Within 3 months, she was remembering names better and telling stories again with that sparkle in her eye. So, here's what I want you to know. It's never too late to wake up your brain. Try something new, a language, a recipe, a dance, move your body daily. Walking improves blood flow to the brain. Socialize, even small talk matters. Protect your sleep, your brain detoxes while you rest, and most of all, stay curious, cause the moment you stop learning is the moment the brain starts forgetting how. And you, my friend, have too many memories, too many stories, and too much wisdom to let it all fade quietly. PAN 7. Final thoughts. You're not fading. You're still becoming. So, let's take a breath together. If you've made it this far in the video, I want to thank you. Because what we just talked about, it's not easy stuff. We touched on movement, sleep, loss, loneliness, fading purpose, and even memory. But through all of it, there's one powerful truth I need you to hear. You are not fading. You are still becoming. becoming wiser, becoming more present, becoming a version of yourself that carries the weight of years and still walks forward with grace. And that's something the world desperately needs now more than ever. So if you take away just one thing today, let it be this. Aging is not about losing your spark. It's about learning how to keep it glowing even in the quietest moments. And you can do that by saying hello to a stranger, letting yourself feel your feelings, moving your body, even just a little, opening the curtains to welcome the day, finding one small thing to look forward to each morning. These tiny acts, they add up. They are the difference between fading and thrive. Now, it's your turn. I want to hear from you. What's one small thing you do each day that helps you feel alive? Let us know in the comments. You never know who you might inspire. If this video spoke to you, give it a like, share it with someone you love, and hit that subscribe button, because we're building a community here, a place for calm wisdom, being well, and living fully. And remember, you're not finished. You're just getting started again. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep becoming.